Throughout his time in power, Hitler had a fascination with creating bigger and better weapons of war. The fascination with Hitler's Wolf's Lair is warranted, as it has been the subject of numerous books and stories. None more famous than the movie Valkyrie, where there was an attempt on Hitler's life which led to a failed coup. Following the successful invasion of Poland in 1939, German forces pushed westward and captured every country in their path. Sentiment amongst Hitler and the senior figures of the Third Reich was growing as it became more obvious that a strategic attack on the Soviet Union was on the cards. Because of this, there was a need for a strategically placed military installation where Hitler and those under him could make decisions and plan the next moves. Wolf's Lair. The TOD organization, headed by senior Nazi figure Fritz TOD, was put in charge of the construction for this installation. Its name would become Wolf's Lair. Wolf was a self-adopted nickname of Hitler, and the German word Schatzi is a term from military engineering, translating to fortifications. However, the usual English translation for the location is Wolf's Lair. The location for the construction of the facility was chosen carefully. It was situated about 8 kilometers or 5 miles from the nearest town in a dense forest. Its size is said to be around 6.5 square kilometers or 2.5 square miles. The Wolf's Lair defenses were separated into 3 specific security zones. Security Zone 3 was the outermost zone. It was surrounded by both anti-personnel and anti-tank minefields. Hundreds of specially trained Wehrmacht soldiers occupied checkpoints, guardhouses, pillboxes, trenches, and watchtowers. These troops were backed up with armored vehicles, tanks, anti-aircraft guns, and heavy weaponry. Any approaching aircraft could be observed from up to 100 kilometers or 62 miles away. Further troops and an additional headquarters were situated not far from the facility to provide reinforcements where needed. A nearby airfield and rail facility provided supplies and brought guests and high-ranking officers for meetings. Security Zone 2 was located within the ring of Zone 3. This had housing for ministers such as Albert Speer and Joachim. It also had quarters for personnel who worked within the Wolf's Lair. Security Zone 1 was in the center of the 2 previous zones. It was surrounded by steel fencing and guarded by specially trained SS troops. The facilities inside this area were especially secure as it contained the Führer's bunker and 10 other bunkers. These were assigned to high-ranking members of the Nazi Party such as Martin Bormann, Hermann Göring, and Wilhelm Keitel. Each of these had 2-meter or 6-foot thick concrete walls reinforced with steel. They were camouflaged with artificial trees, bushes, and grass along their roofs, with camouflage netting attached between the buildings themselves. This meant that from the air, the facility disappeared into the forest. Indeed, Wolf's Lair was a formidable location for any possible attack, and throughout the war, no foreign aggressor was able to make it into the facility while it was fully manned. However, it would be the scene of an attempt on Hitler's life in July 1944. Colonel Klaus von Stauffenberg would carry a briefcase containing a time-delayed bomb into a meeting with Hitler and various other officers. Due to several factors, the bomb would explode, but failed to kill Hitler. Ultimately, von Stauffenberg and his co-conspirators would be arrested and executed. The Wolf's Lair was used extensively by Hitler once the Eastern Front opened up. It was an ideal location to provide orders for the troops on the ground. He would spend over 800 days at the facility between 1941 and 1944, when he and all the occupants were forced to withdraw due to the advancing Russian army. In January 1945, the Russians would capture the facility and set to work demolishing the buildings. Due to the immense size and amount of reinforced concrete used, most of the buildings were not fully destroyed. It would also take at least another 10 years for the estimated 50,000 plus mines to be cleared from around the facility. Thanks very much indeed for watching. We'll see you next time.